Hello and welcome back to Concert Critiques in Cars with Emily. So tonight's show was at the Anthem. It was Death Cab for Cutie as the headliner and the opener was Charly Bliss. So getting there. It was a little bit of a struggle. The traffic was kind of bad today. There were two spots where there was construction, which really did impact people's ability to just like get in. A 2-lane highway turned into 1 lane, and then once I was actually in DC, there was another part where there was construction. But overall, it wasn't terrible. And then I also parked in a different parking garage just because I wanted to try it out. I went on Spot Hero and found a more expensive one, but it was closer. So I was like, well, let me just see if this is a functional parking lot. And the problem was my GPS thought I was like on the bottom street, but really I was on the top of the street. So it was very confusing, and I ended up following my GPS, whereas if I had just followed the signs, then that would have been better. So it was easy to loop around once I made the mistake. So like, again, that was okay. But now that I know how to park there, it would maybe be different next time. And also, again, because of the construction, I got rerouted. So I also even came into the city a different way than I normally do when I park in the other garage that I park at. So again, just like something different, decided to try it. I ended up getting there on time. But again, I left like an hour and 45 minutes before it started. So a normally 45-minute ride, even with some traffic, took me pretty much an hour and a half. So that like kind of stunk. Like I had 15 minutes. Once I got into the venue to like find my seat and sit down and like go to the bathroom and stuff. So that was a little bit but again, I had known there was construction, so I was at least like conscious enough to be a little bit early. And the parking thing, if I had known where the parking was from the start, I would have been earlier. So that was kind of like my own fault in a way. But yeah, the other parking garage, I actually like the other parking garage better, and it's only 0.2 miles further, so, and it's way cheaper, so I think I'll probably end up going there next time again, but I figured I'd try it this time. Anyway, enough about getting there, let's get to the show. So, I really am not a huge fan of female singers, and Charly Bliss, man, let me tell you, they just really are the epitome of what I don't enjoy in a female singer. So the first song they opened with was like this sugary, like almost like Japanese anime theme song, and it was just not what I was looking for, and I don't think that it complemented the headliner very well. Very different style from Death Cab. So that was like really not a pleasant start to the show for me personally. But then actually the second and third song were like a little bit less of that like poppy, sugary music. So I actually was able to enjoy them a little bit more. And then after the third song, she told us that apparently their guitarist like couldn't finish the tour with them, so the bassist had to replace the guitarist, and then their friend replaced the bassist. So that's kind of sad. Then they, kept playing, and their songs are a little bit shorter, so instead of like 6 songs, which are traditionally played in a half-hour opener, they played like 8 or 9 songs. Some of them were better than others. Again, there were like 2 or 3 of those like sugary poppy songs, and I really didn't like them, and I just did not enjoy those specific moments in that set. But then towards the end, they played a new song, and it actually was pretty good. I did actually really like that one song. Sometimes the lyrics were a little bit hard to understand, and I don't know if it was because of like the sound and just all the instruments being played at once, or it was just because I'd never heard any of the songs, so like my brain couldn't like fill in the like blanks that I was missing. But yeah, I mean, overall, I knew I was not going to enjoy the set from the beginning. I had looked them up on YouTube, tried to like get into it, I couldn't. So they were better than I thought, the few songs that I actually kind of was okay with. So that was good. I'm glad that I had at least a couple moments in their set where I was like, all right, like I can understand it and appreciate this music. And then Death Cab for Cutie came on. And so they opened with a song from their new album, which was like a slower song, which again is what I complained about at a previous concert in a recent review. So I thought it was funny that I actually really liked that they started with that song. It was a song I had really wanted to hear, and I'd really been hoping that they would have played it. Now, I don't know how big that song is in terms of this album coming out. I don't know if it's a new single of theirs or not, but I really liked that song, and I was really glad that they played it. They could have played it in the middle, they didn't have to play it first, but I thought it was a really good opener, even though it was slower. And then they played a couple other songs from their newer album. And the lead singer even addressed, he's like, look, we're gonna play stuff from every album, but I'm just letting you know, like, we also just came out with a new album, so that's what we're gonna be playing. So that was nice to, like, kind of calm the crowd of being like, hey, wait a minute, where's all this old stuff that we want to hear? Then they played an older song, and it was really good. It was a song that I knew, so I was really excited about that. And I had listened to a lot of their new album, so I had at least been able to recognize, oh, this is a song on their new album, and for every song that was new on their album, but then most songs I knew more than just like the fact that it was on their album and it was new. So yeah, so they started playing, and they played a couple newer songs, they played a couple old songs, they even played a couple old songs I didn't know. There was this one song that the lead singer sat behind the piano for the first time during the set, and I had no idea what it was, and I was enjoying it, but then all of a sudden the bridge started, and the lyrics were very simple and they weren't said very often, but boy, man, that music at that bridge, and then like the repetition of that simple but like very significant lyric was just like mind-blowingly good. I was really, really excited about that song. Definitely gonna have to look it up. I don't know what the title is, but yeah, I really liked that. Like, and the crowd really enjoyed that song because they knew what the song was. I did not, but oh my gosh, it really blew me away, and I was really, really excited about it and very impressed. And then after that, they played a newer song from their album, Northern Lights, and the lead singer explained that he, like, when they were writing the song, he knew, like, exactly what female voice he wanted to have on the track, and it was the lead singer of Churches, and she was there, so she came out on stage and sang the song with them, which was really, really cool. I really, really like when they have, like, the person who collaborated actually come to the stage and, like, sing with them. I think that's awesome, and even though, again, Churches has a female singer, so I'm not a huge fan of Churches, but I really did. I've seen them a couple times, and they're very good, so I was really excited that, you know, that was just like a little twist, a little surprise that sometimes shows, even if they do have a collaboration, you know, the artist is doing something else at the time, so they can't really just like go on tour with a band. But it was really cool that the lead singer of Churches was able to do that for the show. I also would be interested to know if she's done it for other shows. I don't know if she's actually traveling with them right now, or I want to say that they're on tour right now, or at least they were on tour very recently, so I wonder if we're like a special exception to the rule, or if we're just the rule like everyone else. But so that was cool. I really liked that she came and sang with them. Then they started to like go into their older stuff, and it was like clearly time for them to kind of end their set. They'd been playing for an hour and a half, and they played Soul Meets Body, and that was awesome. And I was like, all right, like they're gonna go off to encore. And then all of a sudden they start playing Sound of Settling, and I love that song, and had totally forgotten about it. It wasn't on the YouTube playlist I was listening to. It just like disappeared from my radar, and I was so excited. I jumped the entire time, did not stop jumping from start to finish of that song, to a point where my calves are actually killing me right now. And it was amazing, and I was not expecting it, and this is why you don't look at the set list before you go to a show, because things like that occur all the time, and it's amazing when you are like just totally taken back, because you're like, oh my gosh, how did I forget about this song? This is awesome. So I loved that. I thought it was super great, and I am so glad they played that song, and it was just so amazing. So then they go off for the encore, and I was like, well, I mean, honestly, they could have ended the show right there, and I would have been pumped. But then the lead singer came back on with just an acoustic guitar, and he played I Will Follow You Into the Dark. So that was also really good. And I mean, I had remembered that they had done that song. That was not one of the ones that I forgot about, but it was just so nice, and it was just such a like well done song. Sorry about that, my storage is full, so clearly I either need to get a new phone with more storage or just leave things off my phone. But anyway, as I was saying, so they came back on with I'll Follow You Into the Dark, and again, they could have ended there and I would have been so happy, especially after Sound of Settling. So then they ended up playing another song from their new album, which was okay, not my favorite of their new album, so that was like a little bit not as exciting as Sound of Settling and Follow You Into the Dark. And then they played 2 older songs, and I didn't know either of them. So the third song they played in the encore was a little bit boring for me personally, just because I didn't know the song and it wasn't like a very upbeat song. And then the last one started kind of boring, but then it ended up being amazing. There was just like a lot of build up with a lot of like music and just like, again, that like simple lyric that was repeated in the bridge. And the lights were really amazing for that like last final like moments of that show. So they ended on a really strong note, which is great because I didn't know the song. And again, at the beginning, I was like, ugh, another slower song that I don't know, but it ended up being really awesome. So their light show just in general was, I mean, pretty fantastic. They had one single like screen in the back that was long, and then they had all these lights like on the tops and even on the sides and the bottom of that screen. So the screen displayed like weird images, and at first I was like, is this like a mistake? Is it just that like the like it's out of focus or something? But then I started to realize that the lighting was very deliberate, and it was so well done and just so detail oriented, and it was like colors from like the screen were matching colors that were up above, and only certain types of lights would come on during certain songs. So I really appreciated their light show. Even if you didn't enjoy their music, you have to at least appreciate the detail and the time that went into planning that light show. It was really impressive. So really good job on the light show. All right, let me get into my score before my phone decides to make me have to start all over again with all this whole memory thing. The first band was I really did not love Charly Bliss. That really was rough to get through for me for this show. And there were some moments that were a little bit of a lull for me in Death Cab's set as well, just because I either didn't know the song or was a newer song that I wasn't really a huge fan of. But then again, playing that Sound of Settling at the end, oh man, that really made up for pretty much any lull in their set that I could think of. And they also had some songs that I didn't know that really like blew me away. So even though there were a couple lulls in their set for me, it really like ended up being more than balanced out because of the other things that were so great about their set. Also, it ran a little late. They played for 2 hours, which is great because they're a huge band. They have a lot of music, so can't really complain about that so much. But I was gonna give this like, I was thinking 7.5 at the like beginning of Death Cab set, just because again they played great songs and I was really enjoying it, but there was nothing that went over and above from that opening band that was just really brought that score down. But I think the end of their show and the fact that even though their encore again was like a little bit dicey and would maybe make me keep them at an 8, that last final song and their light show really just blew me away throughout their entire show. So I think I'm gonna give it an 8.5. So this was like definitely a show that kind of dropped a little bit in the beginning and then kind of saved itself towards the end. So yeah, I think I'm gonna stick with an 8.5. Good show overall. If you ever get a chance to see Death Cab for Cutie, please go see them, and definitely enjoy Sound of Settling because that song live was just so great. It was amazing, and I really love that song, and I'm so glad they played it, and I'm actually really glad that I had totally forgotten about it and wasn't expecting it and wasn't waiting for it. It just came up and it was like, oh my gosh, how did I totally forget about this song? It was so good. Anyway, have a wonderful night, and I will see you guys on Saturday. I have another show coming up, so yeah, that'll be super interesting. It's gonna be the Wombat, so I'm really excited about that. All right, have an awesome night, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.